I think we can get started. Over to you, Palak, for the introduction.
Thanks, Patil. Okay, sure. So let's get started. Firstly, very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the another edition of the Skillimic Capability Forum. Today's topic is AI tools are everywhere. Why are teams still not more productive? Over the last 2 years, AI tools have become more accessible than ever before. Organizations are investing heavily in generative AI platforms. Employees have access to ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Claude, and a growing ecosystem of productivity tools. Yet a question continues to persist across industries. If AI is everywhere, why aren't teams significantly more productive? Is the challenge the technology itself? Is it a skill gap? Is it a leadership challenge? Or are we simply expecting AI to solve problems that are fundamentally human? Today, we bring together an exceptional panel of leaders from learning and development, HR, and business functions to explore what is really happening inside organizations, what separates successful AI adoption from failed initiatives, and what leaders need to differently do to unlock meaningful productivity gains. To guide today's discussion, we have with us Mr. Sanket Ramakrishnamurthy, Global Head of People Operations at AutoRapid. Mr. Sanket brings extensive experience in building people practices, driving organizational effectiveness, and enabling high performance teams across global environments. With a unique perspective at the intersection of people, technology, and business outcomes, he is ideally positioned to moderate today's conversation. Welcome, Mr. Sanket.
Thank you. Thank you, Palak.
Now, our first panelist for today is Ms. Shirley, Deputy Manager Learning and Development at Wonderla Holidays. Shirley has been actively involved in building learning interventions, capability development initiatives, and employee growth programs within one of India's leading entertainment and hospitality organizations. Her experience is driving learning adoption and behavioral change, provides valuable insights into how employees actually embrace new technologies and ways of working. Welcome, Shirley.
Thank you so much, Pala.
Our next panelist is Mr. Shiva Prasad, L&D consultant, Novo Nordisk Engineering. Mr. Shiva brings rich experience in learning consulting, organizational capability development, and workforce transformation. Having worked closely with business leaders and employees on learning journeys, he understands the realities of helping people translate new skills into measurable workplace performance. Welcome, Mr. Shiva.
Thank you, Balay.
We also have with us Mr. Pradeep, Vice President of Human Resources at Mindtech. Mr. Pradeep is seasoned HR leader with extensive experience in talent management, workforce development, leadership capability building, and organizational effectiveness. His perspective on balancing technology adoption with people performance will add an important dimension to today's discussion. Welcome, Mr. Pradeep.
Thank you, Pala. Pleasure to be here and part of this discussion.
Thanks. Also, joining us today is Mr. Prashant, Learning Leader, Product Security at Honeywell Technologies Solution. Mr. Prashant leads learning initiatives within a highly specialized technology and product security environment. His experience in enabling technical teams, driving continuous learning, and supporting innovation-driven organizations makes his insights particularly relevant in the context of AI-enabled productivity. Welcome, Mr. Prashant.
Thank you, Palak.
And finally, we have with us Ms. Varsha, Associate Director, HRBP at Emerald Clinical. Ms. Varsha brings extensive HRBP experience across the APAC region, partnering closely with business leaders to drive talent, culture, and organizational performance. Her perspective on employee adoption, change management, and business alignment will be invaluable to today's discussion. Welcome, Ms. Varsha.
Thank you so much, Palak. Pleasure to be here.
So thank you all for joining us today. Over to you, Mr. Sanket.
Thank you, Palak. Thanks for the introduction, formal introduction. So before I get into the hype of AI and how the outcomes are coming up, the challenges that any organization and or also employees thinking in their mindset, what are the leadership thing that we are really focusing about and what could be the implications? And what are the organizations who are really, doing differently at this point of time? Before getting depth into it, I just want, as an icebreaker, I just want every panel to just speak around 30 seconds. As soon as you hear about AI, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? And what do you really think about it? Because when we all studied, there was no AI. Suddenly, this thing has come up from past 2 to 5 years. So, anyone talks about AI, what is the first thing that comes to your mind now? Pradeep, you can start, and everyone can
Yeah,
join one
yes,
by
yes,
one.
sure, Sanket. See, AI is widely used term now, because if you see the last 2 to 3 years, it's all about AI. One, the first thing which comes to the employees per se is the job insecurity. Okay, and the second thing is, the way AI is been going around is there are a lot of hype about AI, but actually, if you see, the data readiness and the lack of clear business use cases is actually, not very clear across the organization. So at one stage, AI has been talked about so widely, but at the same time, there are a lot of confusions within the organization, within the business leaders, and within the employees. So I think, over the period of time, it gets sorted out. And what another challenge which I foresee is the governance gaps and the skill match. So these are few points which I had. Probably my colleagues can add on more to that.
Also, Sanket, I feel AI is a magical tool for most of our organization, right? We love when we say, okay, let's do something with AI and instantly you get a results around. But I think most of the companies are only focusing on adoption. They forget that the focus also should be on the outcome. I think that is something, that is the gap that we might have a discussion on today, because using the tool will not bring in a change, right? It is also on what is the business outcome the company is also looking for. So I think better results is a leadership mindset. Maybe if I am a manager or I'm a leader, I'm looking at an output. So today we might have a quick discussion on what is the gap that the organizations are feeling upon on adoption of AI.
Okay. Prashant?
When I first saw ChatGPT on day one, I felt like the things which I studied in my engineering final year in theory has become a reality now. And I got a few hands, particularly coming from L&D background. We draft a lot of communications, so it is a great hand for me to make my job easy. That's the first feeling I had when I saw the ChatGPT on day one.
Nice. Varsha?
Yeah, just to add on to this complex tool, which is seems to be easy to be used, but I think what we are probably going to discuss today is the cognitive complications of using AI and making sure where not to use AI. For example, if an line manager says that okay, this and I belong to a very sensitive organization like Emerald Clinical, it is a CRO industry. We deal with a lot of patients' data and real life the molecules that are being introduced in the market as drugs and stuff like that. So having a watch where the data is of course readily available, but making sure the data what is being used is rightfully validated at the right time before it is getting presented, and not just taking it for sure that since it is coming out of a tool which is absolutely prepared and absolutely well driven in the back end, we cannot produce that data forward. I think that is a very sensitive matter right now that we are dealing with, and I'm part of the AI council in my organization currently. So we are following a raci model where we are looking at who are the people who are responsible for doing each of these things. So yeah.
Great. Shiva? Shiva, you're on mute, I think. You're speaking?
Is this
Yeah.
on me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Um, I still remember the first day when I joined my work 15 years back. The question was asked, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And I think now it's very difficult for us to answer that question because of AI. We don't know what's going to happen after 5 years. And I don't know where do I see myself after 5 years. And this is a challenge that, as a learning and development function, that we see everywhere, that how do we make sure that we build that capability to be ready for the next 5 years and like from 5 years from now, right? So the challenge is like we have a tool, but how do we make sure that our people are ready to adopt, and also that business investing on that at the readiness? Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think you most of all summed it up in the way how the AI is also bringing a couple of things. It's bringing a lot of challenges. It's also threatening, but it's also an enabler. So for me, it is more like a studio assistant right behind you, which keeps on popping up and telling you what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do, how fast you can do, and how you know we stop using our own brains at some point of time because we feel there is someone who can help me at this point of time. So that is a kind of a shadow who is next behind me. So that's the overall AI summarize for me in nutshell. Great. So what we are going to do is there is a lot of AI hype that we all know. Everyone is talking about it. So wherever I go, wherever I think you guys go, there is one or the other conference level comes out with 1 hour or half an hour session topic on AI, and everyone is talking about it. So when we come to that, what is the biggest AI related challenge that organizations are really overlooking today? If we start looking up to that, so I just want anyone to pick up this and help me out or help the team understand what is the biggest challenge that you think that organization is overlooking today in terms of AI?
I think I'll quickly take this up, Sanket. I think what they're overlooking right now and what I've seen in the recent past is they're looking at the speed of getting the things done, but probably there are organizations who are forgetting to do those quality checks, putting the quality checks in place, where of course the speed has been reduced 50 times more, etc., but then the quality checks are missing. That's first. The second, I think the challenge is when they, like I said, they do not know where not to use it. Everybody is talking about AI, yes. Everybody is using it, yes. Everybody wants to use it and learn more about it, how to use it, but they are not being self sufficient talks about where are the checkpoints where you should not use it or restrict the usage of the same, right? So I think that's one of the biggest thing that we all should be talking about as well when we're talking about usage of AI.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to add,
Uh,
yeah,
Anyone wants to add it? Yeah, Pradeep.
to add to what Varsha mentioned is, that critical thinking is missing, especially after the AI has come. See, what is happening is we are all into this AI and we're all doing so many POCs. But the first and foremost thing, what is missing is we need to understand the customer's end needs and what are their priorities. And based on that, the POCs needs to be designed. Because what most of the time what happens is because this AI is being talked about so much, what industries are doing is they're all coming up with what the AI tools internally. More importantly is to understand the customer needs and then design the POCs accordingly. So that's what I feel.
Great. I mean, I think as Varsha and Pradeep just put it across, I mean, we often hear this, right? I mean, employees are also saying that by using AI, we are able to save some manual working hours. It has reduced around a couple of hours that what we are trying to do. But why is that, still leaders are struggling to see there is some measurable business impact? And where do you think there is a big disconnect, Prashant? Because I've seen, Honeywell as an automation company with a lot of avionics. You guys are into embedded, you're into multiple streams, right? So how do you think that, even saving number of hours from an employee's day-to-day activity, but still leaders are a little bit not open to it, and they're still saying that they're not able to get that measurable business impact at this point of time. So what's your thought on this?
I have one question, Sanket, for this. And I would say that it is because of staying in happy mood for a long time. Because see, what happens usually is, okay, I have to do a certain thing. I have used AI. Now I solved it because, for example, I will take my own example. I developed an AI agent which generates skill matrix for me. Okay. And usually from an L&D, coming from an L&D background, interacting with global leaders, going back and forth. It takes around anywhere between 3 to 4 weeks to arrive at a particular skill matrix and standardize it and translate into a training activity. Now, with an AI agent, the skill matrix is being generated in within an hour or so. Developing an agent took 1 hour and developing a skill matrix took an hour. In couple of hours, we have developed a skill matrix for the entire organization globally. Now, I have saved 4 weeks of time there. Will I use that time for anything else which impacts the business? Most of it is no. Okay, because okay, I have saved some productivity timing, that is absolutely fine. But what business wants to do is, what are you doing with that saved time?
Mhm.
Are you bringing something more to the table? Are you doing something more which can bring revenue to the business? So if we can fill that time or use that saved time much more productively, then people will start seeing impact of AI on the business directly. So that's why I call staying in happy mood. Okay, we'll stay with a wow feeling. Okay, we have saved time, wow, and saved time will be used for something else. Right?
Correct. So Shali, I mean,
Yes,
when we hear about Wonderlaw, right? I mean, we
right.
always talk about fun and recreation, right? So
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm very curious, how AI and how are you guys really handling this in your organization, how effective it has been. And I would certainly would love to understand along with the team how AI
Right.
is really creating an impact or creating reducing the manual levels, or it is creating a challenges for you guys within the organization to drive further.
Correct. So, Sankit, first of all speaking, I think as most of them told that we by using AI, we are saving a lot of time, right? But I actually call it as an activity trap because see, as a manager, when they see it, right, they see 80% of the team is using AI tools. Usage is huge. Number looks extremely good. People say that I have saved 2 hours this week, and the manager thinks, great, we are so productive, but I think nobody is asking what did you do with those two saved hours, right? In most cases, those hours went in more emails, more reviews, or more smaller tasks. But the hours were saved, right? So the hours that were saved, we are not investing into anything that can grow the business. So activities went up, outcome will stay flat. For an example, when we come to our let's say restaurants, right? So imagine we have a chef who is getting a very faster knife. He can chop vegetable twice as fast now. But if he's still making the same number of dishes per day and the restaurant does not earn more money, the knife has helped him, but he did not help the restaurant yet, right? That's what is happening with the AI right now. But to be very truthful, neither employees are lying nor the managers. Genuinely, we are feeling more faster after using AI, lighter as well, maybe less stressed. That is totally real. But what managers also feel is the quality of work, deliverably, and revenue is not growing, numbers haven't moved up. That is the major concern. So, what is happening in between? This is the missing bridge. Individual speed is not being converted into team results, or why. The question why always remains because nobody redesigns on how the team works. You gave people a very faster car, but the road, the process, the workflow, and the meeting is still in the same old road. So that is not an AI problem, that is a leadership problem, what we can call right now. I think this is, I would love to hear if anyone else want to add up a point, but this was my perspective.
So what I hear from Shirley is she's openly bringing up a clear uh, challenge to the panel with asking such a simple question. Shiv, so I want to give it to you this question. So, what do you think? Employees, especially, they say they're very productive, but managers, they say, they're not doing any significant impact. So,
Yeah.
who is right here?
Both of them are right, for sure. Why do I say that? Like now, employee does the work in 2 hours. An example, if he's taking 2 days to complete the work, now he's done in 2 hours. But does the manager know that like it can be done in 2 hours? The task which I assign to my employees now, it is not the same as I used to assign the 3 years, 2 years back, right? There's a lot of changes happen. Do I know like how much time as a manager, how much time this task takes if my employees use AI, right? So that kind of awareness the manager should have. Then they know, okay, my employees are free now; they can take more, right? The gap is like employee does it and manager doesn't know like what to do with the rest of the hours, and the managers are not trained enough or given enough awareness. They also should get skilled enough in AI to know that like, which are the areas AI can help employees to be productive and cover these hours, and is a gap there. So we see like we have to make sure our managers think differently. At the same time, employees also go back and say that like this can be done in 2 hours, so give me other tasks to complete in another 2 days. Yeah.
So what I hear from you is brings to me another question, follow-up question. So Varsha, I think you can help me out on this. So do we believe that we are, measuring the productivity at the wrong level on how we are using AI? So what do you think? Because Shiv talked about the timing, we have 2 hours, 4 hours. So there is some measurable outcomes at what we are looking from the employee and also from the manager end. So do you think somewhere we are not able to measure the productivity or we are at a very wrong foot on that?
From my view, what I see currently, what we are probably missing here is basically the objectives that we are trying to achieve, irrespective of which organization or background we are coming from. The organizational leadership objectives versus the AI usage. There's a lot of peer pressure. Like, for example, I just take this example as Shelley mentioned that, she feels that AI has transformed the way work used to happen before. A lot of time is being saved, etc. Maybe my perspective might be a little bit different, where I think though AI, yes, maybe while drafting an email or maybe when I'm doing some sort of analysis when it comes to my people, etc., maybe it's saving a lot of time for me. But when I'm interpreting that data and presenting it to my leaders, are those presentation or strategies are in line to the objectives of the larger organizational goals, right? So it's very important that we link all of these dots together in order to have a relevant outcome. Having an impact is one thing. Impact, we cannot look at it in a very isolated way. We have to look at it because we are all here for business. We are not here for some fun and experiment, right? We are here for business. We are here to make sure that employees are retained within the organization, they see a career progression for themselves, etc., etc. So various goals put into picture, right? So we need to have a mechanism where all of these are tied together, and AI is not kept separate as one of the tools where we used to use Excel and now we are using AI. That should not be a mindset shift. It should be a shift of an overall approach to see how things are moving from an organizational objective perspective to usage of tools. So how all of those things could be put together.
Thank you. Thank you, Richa. So when you're talking about the AI tools, I mean, how are we going to use it and how we are going to put it together? So, Pradeep, that comes to me, one question in my mind. All these organizations have started to AI tools. I think every organization has seriously started to go and invest on AI tools. But only few organizations are something which has become more of AI-driven results. They've literally, put across in their KPIs and OKRs, saying that this is what I'm going to achieve at the end of third quarter or a fourth quarter. So, what do you think is the biggest, avenues that has been created by these organizations who have really gone and started talking about AI-driven results? And what of those organizations who have AI tools, but somehow they're not able to get those results? What are the similarity and differences that you feel in these organizations?
Yeah. So if you talk about the matured organizations like tier one companies, they have already implemented this AI tools. So it is not about the time saved or productivity. It is important. It is the define. It is how the organization define their operations. How do they compete and how do they grow internally is more important. Because what is happening is, as Shirley mentioned, there are a lot of time which has been saved by the artificial intelligence, by the AI tools which has been implemented. But how are we upskilling these resources, for utilizing their times more effectively? Because there are a lot of things, where the employees can complete their task sooner. but how are we effectively utilizing those resources for more productivity? So
Okay.
there is a gap over there, because the productivity gap, though we are saving time, but how effectively are we going to utilize those resources for doing more productive jobs or thinking, out of the box using AI tools is something, which companies, which have started like small size companies or mid-size companies should start focusing on.
So again, follow-up question, Prashant, but I want Prashant to take it. Prashant, whatever Pradeep just said now, what do you think? Is it a technology problem or it is something on the capability problem? Where do you think the biggest challenge?
It's the biggest challenge is more in adoption, Sanket, if you ask me, because if you observe the top companies, including us, they take a two-step approach. One thing is first they are clear on the outcomes. They don't invest heavily on every tool which comes into the market. They are clear on the direction where they want to go, and they initially have the ideas or the products where what they want to focus on to develop using AI, then implement and procure the tools accordingly, train the employees accordingly, and then take the product to the market. So it is a systematic approach rather than getting overloaded by the AI. Point number two is they open roles for cross-functional contribution. When I say cross-functional contribution, if you take the in my example, I come from a learning background. But when I saw different scenarios, I have developed a tool which unifies the auditing model. Because I'm not from an audit background, but I have developed that tool which unifies. Because the problem what I solved there is, each product has to be audited to comply with different scenarios. Like it has to comply with 27001, it has to comply with the NS2, NIS2 directives, 6443 standards. So each a product auditor will come to a development team and audits for that particular standard. Another auditor will come audits for the particular standard. So each time the developing spends that much amount of time for audits. Now, if there is an unified audit development model which tells the developers these are all the standards in one place, if you satisfy these conditions, you will satisfy 1 to 3 audit requirements. So if that tool is there with the developer in the development phase itself, the standards, the requirements can be incorporated, and a lot of time can be saved there. So this is an example of my organization allowing me to contribute cross-functionally. So that approach, what happens, it increases the pace of implementation of AI, and the contribution from the employees will be more, and there will be more structured approach towards so this is what are my thoughts on this, please.
Okay, so if I hear you clearly, Prashant, you're trying to say, though you're also able to create a cross-functional audit-related tool, and likewise, I think most of us have started to develop tools on our own, which can really solve our day-to-day problems that what we are occurring. So that really tells me one thing: it's not just a technology problem that is something that we need to look into. It as a capability problem. So how are we really going to enrich our employees? How to effectively use the tool, whether we are going to give a hand-holding kind of a thing or we are giving them the tokens where they can just go and play around with the tokens, free tokens, so that, once they start playing around with those tokens, they are able to learn or build something on their own. So, in your organization, Chef, do you think that, are you guys been promoting AI in your day-to-day activity and also giving this kind of initiatives that you would love to share it across? And
Yes.
what kind of initiatives that you guys have taken?
Yeah, we also did a AI Olympics actually last year, and like we started from last November, and where the Olympics talks about like how do you use Copilot in your organization, how to make sure that you create agents, how to make sure that you know right prompt, use the right prompt, how to create the prompts, all those things as a part of this learning journey. It is not like one person or like it is dedicated to a department; it's dedicated to the whole organization. So anybody can join the session and understand what is prompt from basic till creating an agent for their own department. Then also we it is a competition again. We also had people like every day they're giving input about the new prompts, and like we score them and we say like this is the department which won this Olympics, AI Olympics. So likewise, we make sure that like everybody has got enough awareness about how to use these tools. It is not just to write an email that you use Copilot, right? It is to make sure that like every task that you do, see how it can be useful in terms of a outcome. You should know like whether I'm doing a right thing using a AI or the wrong thing. Do I load AI a lot by asking whatever I want, or do I really make sense when I ask prompt to the AI? Right. So all this education is being given to all the employees, and they learned, and also they have created, contributed towards the organization by creating agents. Yeah, this is how we initiated this journey of making sure that like, we use AI in a right way. Yeah.
Great. So, Shaili, this question to you, because again, it is all about excitement, right? So,
Right.
you would be the right person to answer this. So, uh, see, generally, whenever new thing comes into the system, like now AI is the hype, AI initiatives everywhere. So, typically, everyone is talking about AI initiatives. So, do you think, it is just an initial excitement that everyone is going through, and somewhere, this excitement will
Mhm.
also fall down? Just like a fountain or waterfall coming down. So,
Yeah.
is it a just a hype and an initial excitement that people are thinking about, or it is a long-term kind of a thing?
So I think the best example is I have come across in a very professional service firm is we didn't just give the team AI tools, right? They did something very different is we started redesigning work on how it is getting done. So let's say before AI, a team of 5 people took 3 days to prepare a client report or even your presentations, etc. But after AI, what is happening is the same report take half an hour or less than that, not because the team was very lazy before, but now they are very smarter to use it. So I think the critical change was they took those days that were getting utilized and saved them. Now they're able to do a deeper client conversation and interaction. So I do not see AI as a threat, because see, again, it is more of thinking, more of relationship building and more strategy when you're interacting with the client. So also revenue per client is increasing on a single year. So this is definitely not an AI success story for us. Again, it is a leadership success story, but AI will make it possible. So for an example, let's say in Wonderla, right? Let's say if our ticketing and operation team use AI to handle routine guest queries, and we free up our team members to spend more personal time connecting with the families, or the helping the first time visitors, welcoming them, or solving maybe a complex issue with the human touch. The AI handles the routine, but the human handles the meaningful conversation. I think that's a winning formula for us. I do not think it would be a threat, but it also depends on how every organization is going to utilize it. So I think that's one of the important thing. And the major reason also, I just wanted to end it up with why typically AI initiative fails an organization. Because see, day one, if I give you a AI tool, you're very excited, you use it like a play tool and you will love it. But on day 30, you are just trying to figure out, okay, how can I use it, and how can I easy my task, because as a person I just want to lessen my burden. But on day 90, when I see the excitement is faded off, because see, nobody has told me how this tool is going to change their job role, or nobody has sat with them and said that this is your old way of working, here is the new way of AI. So people just keep doing what they always do, but with one extra open tool on the browser tab. So I can see larger like companies spend crores of rupees in giving one of the AI tool to the employees. Maybe after 6 months, when you do the review, right, the most use cases, you have used AI to make email sound very polite before sending them. That's it. Crores of rupees just to be nicer in an email. So it again totally depends on how you are adapting AI. So I don't call it a threat, but it is also the usage of it.
Awesome. Thanks, Shali. But I would love to um, put you all on a rapid fire kind of a thing. I'll just give you one sentence. You just need to complete your sentence. Don't think too much. Just one word, one sentence is enough. So if I need to put across a sentence like this, EA adoption fails when, complete the sentence. So what you will say? EA adoption fails when.
Purpose is not known.
Okay. Pradeep,
You need to quickly adapt to the changes.
adapting to the changes. Varsha?
Sorry, I was on mute. When AI and human, it is not made as a workflow.
Workflow. Nice one. Shiva?
Yeah, it fails definitely when they put tools before the behavior.
Okay. Shirley?
I think AI adoption will fail when company focus on adoption and forget to focus on outcome. For example, buying a gym membership is not the same as getting fit. Very
Yeah.
simple.
Very true, very true. Very nice answer that you put it across. So I think we really focused on in this discussion what we had for a couple of 5 minutes now. What really came up is the human side of AI, right? So Shelley spoke about giving more inference onto the human connections rather than reducing the task that is monotonous for us to do it, which can handle by any other tool. So what do you think? Is AI making employees smarter or they're making them more dependent on them? So anyone can pick up this and share your views.
I think I'll be honest right now. For
Yeah.
most teams, AI
Yeah.
is making people more dependent, not smarter. And I say this very carefully as well because I have seen it happen. When somebody uses AI to write every email, every report, or every presentation, they stop practicing the skill of thinking through themselves, right? That skill that is not practiced gets weaker, right? So the people who are thriving with AI are the ones who think first, because then they use AI to go further and very faster. But the people who are struggling are the ones who open AI first and never really think of themselves at all. So I think this is one of the major concern. For example, at like Wonderla, let's say when a guest has a problem, a ride is broken down, or a child is very separated, or he's concerned, there is safety concern, the team member has only 60 seconds to use their judgment and respond with warmth. No AI can help them in that moment. So this is a pure human skill. We cannot afford to let that skill weaken within ourselves. So I think that's one thing that I wanted to add on to this point.
Well said, Shelley. I also believe that, technology conversation is important. It is always there. But, the most bigger conversation what can happen is about people and how we connect with the people. So it's all about the empathy that what we show in every action that what we take. So that's always valuable. So when we talk about valuable, there's something which comes into my mind. What human skills can become more valuable as AI also starts becoming more capable? You know, what do you think? What do you think, Prashant? Because being in L&D, you train people, create curriculums, and ensure that they're scaled up to the next level every 6 months to in a year or so. So you would have working very close to them. So right. So what are those human skills that you really think becomes more valuable when AI also becomes more capable day by day?
One thing is innovation.
Prashant, I'm not able to hear you. So is it?
Am I audible now?
Yeah, now it is audible. Yeah.
Okay. So one clear thing is the ability of critical thinking and innovative thinking, because AI can do the job for you, but it cannot think on behalf of you. You should be the one who um, should come up with the ideas, and for that you should possess a good domain knowledge.
Okay.
So domain knowledge is very key because we work on aircrafts, we work on embedded systems, we work on cyber security, and if you don't know like how a system can be hacked, you cannot develop a tool with AI which helps you to hack. Like, see, you should have a basic domain knowledge within you, that is must, and you should have the capability to innovate, think out of the box, and think critically. I think these are the key skills which humans should possess in whatever tools may come.
Okay. Great. I think one point that strikes me is what you spoke about now is on critical thinking. So let me ask Pradeep, I think you have seen generations of freshers coming in your tenure. So you tell me, now the Gen Zs or the latecomers, are younger professionals, developing enough critical thinking because now they've started to use a lot of AI tools. So where do you think, are they really developing it?
Yeah. See, basically, artificial intelligence is always artificial intelligence. There's a difference between artificial intelligence and human intelligence. So, what is happening in the younger generation is they're just blindly using this artificial intelligence without mindfully checking what exactly needs to be done. Because what happens is everything is available in Chat GPT. You just have to just go and put the right prompt. You get everything what is required. But what is important to you? How you can interpret those information to your work is very important. That type of thinking is completely missing. So what is happening, I have seen many emails also coming, where they just copy the mail chains, putting it on the Chat GPT and expecting a response, and they just copy the same thing without even going through what Chat GPT has written, and they send it to the stakeholders. That creates a lot of chaos in the organization, because some of the mails, are copied to the senior management, so that's something, which is actually missing with the newer generation. And I think, what can be done is the awareness. You need to educate them and give them that awareness so that, they know how to use the prompt which is useful to their day-to-day work.
Okay, great. I mean, my personal experience also on the emails that you spoke about, I've seen quite a lot of things coming to us, even with the subject line, what they've mentioned for the chat GPT coming on top of the email before the draft. So sometimes it's really funny. We have gone through that. So Varsha, for an example, someone reporting to you or your colleague, sends you a email, something like this, So how do you help him to balance out, EA assistance kind of a thing and also his independent judgment, right? How do you sit with him and try to explain him, boss? AI assistance, AI artificial intelligence is good, but there is also independent judgment that you need to put across even when you're doing using AI to the greater extent. So, what would you mentor or coach with those kind of people who send some mail to us like this?
Right. The first thing that I just recently mentioned about a workflow, it's an amalgamation between AI and human, to understand that how do you bring both of them together to make sure that we are using AI in the process and not making it the single point of contact for each and every answer that you need. Like you said, an email, especially when it comes to human, it is more about an ethical emotional quotient that we bring into the table. So it is very important for at least my line report, and especially for the vertical that I belong to, we need to write an email with empathy. We need to make sure that email that goes out, it optically looks good and it also sounds good when, no matter whether it is written to a junior level member or it is written to a senior leadership, etc. We have to maintain that consistency, right? Even if, when, for example, I have seen people using prompts, like they have got an escalation, they just put it across and then say, can you respond to this, and there is a very nasty drafted email that comes out of it, that cannot be sent to somebody at all. So that's exactly where you actually have to train your people to say, bring in your emotional intelligence. And that's where that ambiguity that they have, will AI replace, is going to replace my job that I have right now in my hand, is where you set an example to say no. Because while you are using an AI, you know where you have to use it and where you cannot just copy paste anything and everything. And very rightly said, Sanket, the way you said, the even the subject was copy pasted, and there are certain icons which gets copy pasted. I've seen them, those colons and all of that, that we will never do in an email that we write it. Please make sure, even if they are copy pasting it from somewhere, go through them 10 times, go through them in a way that what a human interpretation would look like, right? It's very important to give that human touch, unless and until you're doing something so technical, and Prashant would know much more better in terms of when it comes to the technicalities of AI usage. That's totally different when it comes to human interpretation and where you need the human touch. So those kind of trainings would be extremely important to understand the difference between technical usage and human touch. So yeah, that's something definitely that's needed.
Thank you, Varsha. So this again boils down to something question that was running behind my mind. You spoke about empathy, right? I mean, let us also not, forget that the way how we start responding to the chat GPTs or Claudes or Geminis, they also have started responding to the same way like how we start responding. The same kind of tone, the same kind of empathy, the same kind of feelings. How we really, reciprocate and resonate with our post, emails, or whatever the discussions that what we have with these tools. Now, tools have started to feed that information into them and has started to respond. Okay, Sanket thinks like this, Sanket writes like this, Sanket's tone is like this, Sanket has to be empathically like this in three couple of points. So you can see those kind of differentiators also coming in place. So Shirley, this question is for you. So when
Yes.
tools have started to, understand you better, what are the risks or concerns that you have, about over-reliance on AI by feeding all the information that you have professionally and personally into the tool, which is used by someone as a data somewhere else. So what's your take on this?
So, Sangeet, I also align with what Vasha just before told me. See, AI has all your information once you give your data, right? So it knows every single thing and it gives you output based on your conversation or your mindset of thought or your prompting. But I think we must learn how to judge AI output, right? Because we are just at the point, if you see, majority of the people just use the AI output. So you must be able to look at what AI has given you and it says whether this is good, this is wrong, or does this need a human touch. So if we cannot do that, that particular thing can go wrong. As Vasha told, we might end up sending a nasty email to a person which might not look that great, right? So using AI, AI can help you with all your small tasks. Everything goes really good, but I think making a judgment call, not finding information, I think we should have the mindset of judging whether this information, what does this information mean, or how do I go about it? Is this human mindset of how I speak? So connecting empathy, real conversation has to be collated. Only then your message makes a huge value on the table.
Thanks, Shirley. Shiva, again, I just want to go back to that email because I get a lot of these kind of a thing. So someone writes to you with a proper email, the outcome is really good, and you expect the same outcome, what is written in the email. But as soon as you read the first sentence, you get to know this is ChatGPT written to you and not the person on the other side. But the outcome is what you wanted. If you get these kind of emails, you overlook it or you say, okay, I need to talk to this kind
Yeah.
person.
So
And,
the first thing, like he adopted AI in the right way when he sends the right message, right? If it is catering my need, I'm okay that he's using, and like that's what we should have, right? If there's something wrong which sounds fishy, then I'll definitely like call and like ask them like, hey, I see like this what happened, like what do you think now, right? Does the person say the same now, or does the person think differently? So we may have to go and like talk to them personally and understand why do they think like that. So we get to know what is the intention of like sending that email, right? If I want that kind of output and he is using AI to produce that output, I'm 100% okay with that. That's what we should look out for, because that is the future. We can't say like sit and like do the same thing forever, right? So in that case, yes, allow them to use and like make sure many times, but stop using it for WhatsApp also. That's what I say, right? Even now, like if some person sends a WhatsApp message, they reply copying that message in the chat GPT, then like copy in the WhatsApp, then send it, right? Don't go to that level. That's it, right? So your feelings should be your feelings, and like don't make it as a machine. Yeah, human are human and machines are machine. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
great. I think we are 3:51 now, so we have 9 minutes to go. I can see there are four questions already there in the chat messages for all of us. Before I go to the questions and pick them up, I would love to ask one question to Pradeep. Pradeep, we have been talking about how AI, right, how it analyzes, how it summarizes, and how it recommends also, right? So, what do you think becomes a major differentiator comparing to the human talent?
Okay. See, basically, the differentiator is the human connect. Because what is happening in the current age with AI, giving so much of information, the human connect is missing. That collaboration is missing. I think that is something which we will have to look forward going forward. And then the other thing is, how do the leaders, lead the business with outcomes? That's another important thing, and have accurate data. One of the major problem is, for example, the data whatever we feed in, you know that data needs to be accurate. Most of the time what happens is when the data is not accurate, and when we start doing an analysis with the AI tools, there are a lot of misinterpretation with the data throws up. So your data needs to be accurately done, because most of the time what happens, most of the data is being fed in Excel, and when we have this data put into the AI tool to do an analysis, the outcome what comes, if it is not accurate, that becomes a major problem.
Okay. Thanks, Pradeep. Thanks. So I think if you're all okay, I would love to take the questions. What is there on the chat? Quite interesting ones are there. I think anyone can pick up you unmute yourself and answer this. 3 years from now, what will differentiate high-performing employees from average performers in an AI-driven workplace?
I
Okay,
would
I would
like to
like to
take
pick up
this.
this. So I think 3 years from now, the difference won't be who uses AI for sure. I think it will be how they think with AI, because high performers will be those who can frame better problems, challenge AI outputs, and apply judgment in the context. But when it comes to an average performer, they will use AI to execute faster. But high performers will use it to make better decisions and create a better outcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Shirley.
Adding to
You wanted to
Shirley,
add something, yeah.
so, yeah, because you told the students will also be participating in this, just for the benefit of that section. Uh, One should be developing an ability to perform cross-functionally. So till now, without advent of AI, like we are specialized in our own domain, is on our function. But with the invention of AI, because AI tools are helping you a lot in all directions, a person should be able to adopt a cross-functional working. Like as if somebody is in HR, they should be ready to move on to development. If somebody is in development, they should be ready to move on to cybersecurity. So that they should be open to the cross domain shift. So that's where they will make a differentiating factor.
Thanks, Prashant. How can organizations distinguish between employees who are genuinely becoming more productive with AI versus those who are simply completing tasks faster? Pradeep, you want to pick it up? Or Varsha?
Right,
Anyone?
go on. Go on, Pradeep. I can
So can you
tell you.
just repeat that question?
How can organization distinguish between employees who are genuinely becoming more productive with AI versus those who are simply completing tasks faster?
It is basically the proactive approach an employee is taking, because now if he's able to complete the work in a shorter duration, what is that additional thing he can take up, and how can he coach and mentor the other team members to perform as the differentiator? Because every employee is not the same. If there are some brilliant people who are able to complete the task sooner, I think that person should be an high performer and be able to coach and mentor other team members in their team to ensure how productive they will become to execute the work.
Thank you. Thank you, Pradeep. Makes sense. Varsha, you wanted to add something to it.
Yeah, just to add on, maybe the differentiator also could be somebody who still constantly thinks out of the box. The innovation still goes on because every time the market is changing, there's a constant change management with every domain, right? Every expertise and every sorts of thing. And somebody who still constantly thrives to learn more. I think that would be the differentiator for sure, because then the person will be able to contribute more holistically towards the organizational developing goals, etc. So I think if somebody thrives for both of those, will be the differentiator in the team and will probably value add much more than somebody where the common factor would be AI usage in both the cases, but definitely will be a differentiator.
Great. So, Shiv, I think the last question I'll pass it on to you because you're the one who has left out. No, I think there's something popped up again. So, what leadership behaviors need to change in workplace where employees increasingly rely on AI for decision support?
Adaptability and resilience. Yeah, that's what I say.
Okay, adaptability and resilience in the part of leadership behavior.
Yes.
Okay, anyone else wants to add few more terms into it?
I think decision making is a very important thing, how the leaders take the decision.
Okay. Yeah, that's a main I think fundamental thing because that is where everything lies down. As Prashant was also saying, it used to take nearly 3 to 4 weeks for us to get one initiative rolled down and brought into the floor. Now, we can get it as early as possible because we can create a PPT in 15 minutes, present it in front of them, and create the whole environment and bring those initiatives moving on. So I think I have the last question. How can improve accurate response from AI like Copilot and ChatGPT? I think
Use
how can anyone
you can have
improve
multiple
performance or
friends.
accurate response from AI like Copilot or ChatGPT? I think performance is missed. Or Rajneesh, you can unmute and ask your question. That's perfectly fine.
I think he's asking about the responses which will be, it hallucinates sometimes. AI hallucinates sometimes. So I think he's asking in that context.
Yeah.
For him, I will tell him the tip what I follow. I have two friends. I will use it for two different purposes. So I will use one GPT for creating a prompt and one GPT for performing that prompt because during the course of time we intend to change this a bit, change that a bit. In during that process of changing it a bit, AI hallucinates at a certain point of time. But if you are using multiple AIs, keeping it one AI constant only for giving you the results, fine tuning it, then I think you will get more accurate responses and more accurate results. There's the thing I learned it the hard way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
thank you, Shant, and yeah, thank you, Sanket. So, yeah, I'm working with Ansono Technologies, and yeah, we are also going to a new in AI sites. So, sometime like we are giving the some files, then it's giving the accurate results, but sometime it is like little bit differences. Sometime reading in the image. So. Yeah, like I can say it's a 95% accurate, 5% it's going to be wrong. So we can't accept the blindly, and it is going to be improved. We have the AI team; they are going to improve it. But yeah, just today I joined this seminar, so I was thinking to learn more, and it's
so.
mandatory for everyone.
Now, Rajneesh, I'll add a word to you. So, see, AI can't be trusted blindfoldly. Let us accept
Yeah.
that. Okay. Even if you're coding, even if you're trying to develop any kind of tools using or applications or app using AI, we just need to work on the security aspects and various other things. Unless you know how to auto re-engineering the whole application that you have done on your own, that app will not be successful because some hack happens and you
Yeah.
really don't know where exactly is the glitch. Then working on that glitch itself will spoil your whole business with the clients that you're working in. So, not just developing an app, you also need to understand how auto re-engineering also works in terms of AI. With keeping that and timing in mind, it's four. So I just like to conclude the whole thing. Great. Thank you everyone for joining and also the panel who really put across your thoughts. I think today's discussion really highlighted, a powerful reality that what we are facing today, that AI itself is not the productivity solution. Productivity comes from the people who are really working along with the tools. Not just the people, it's also the leaders who drive and take some decisions. And also, like how Varsha was talking about, it's all about the outcome and the workflow, how organizations are redesigning the whole process and how the capabilities are developed. That is all coming together can really drive AI more into the productive solution. I think we all were amazed when Gartner presented recently saying that 80% of the corporates or the CEOs who said we have gone into the AI and now we are thinking of coming back and re-engineering really created another havoc in the minds of everyone. But let us all understand the common thing, what is going to happen. What discussions I would love to summarize at this point of time and what we all spoke about. So let us understand that it is not just about measuring the outcomes. It is more about measuring the outcomes, but not just the activity what we are doing. We need to build human capabilities along AI capabilities, because both needs to go hand in hand. We also need to focus on adoption, resilience with purpose, and not just an adoption for the sake of technology or someone else is asking us to do that. So we need to own the adoption on our own. We need to equip managers to lead AI-enabled teams, because if managers are not open, they are not adaptive, I think it will not work at all, because it becomes the most challenging for any team member to start working with a manager who is not open for it. Most of it, again, we come back to the critical thinking that we focused on, the judgment that we are going to take, and also a leadership who is at the center, who takes a decision that this is what is right or wrong for my organization based on the policies that they've set up and how the implications is going to happen for their organization. So I once again thank everyone and all our beloved panelists. Talking to you was a great thing. Today, I've learned something more than what I had when I joined this conversation. And I also thank everyone who has joined us today. Hopefully, we have learned something more than what we had when we joined this conversation. Saying this, I conclude my moderation, and back to Palak. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sanket. So, as we conclude today's discussion, one message stands out clearly. AI does not automatically create productivity. Productivity comes from how people use AI, how leaders enable adoption, and how organizations redesign work around it. The future belongs not to the organizations that simply provide access to AI tools, but to those that build the capabilities, mindsets, and systems required to use those tools effectively. A big thank you to our moderator, Mr. Sanket, and to all our distinguished panelists for sharing their perspectives and experiences. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. We hope the discussion has provided practical insights that you can take back to your teams and organizations. On behalf of Skillame, thank you for being part of the conversation. Have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you in our next capability forum.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
Thank
you.
you very
Palak, and
much.
thank you,
Thank you
Sanket.
so
Thank
Thank
much.
you
you.
all.
Take care.
Bye.
Before we end, I have something for Shirley.
Yes, Sanket.
So, as AI will always push us back when we are asking for the tickets or discounts. So, as the empathy and a direct human connection, I think you can give us some good discounts for the Wonderla.
Sure, Sanket. You can connect me for the same.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Sanket. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.